Right now on KGW News, fire breaks out at a lumber yard in the Gorge. As winds whip it up, crews rush in to keep it from spreading. Plus,
watching everyone kind of like fall apart as the week wore on was hard.
Hundreds of teachers in Oregon's second largest school district are just hours away from finding out if they're losing their jobs. Then,
couldn't have been any more blindsided. I'd never heard of such a thing.
A KGW investigation into why dozens of small Portland businesses are suddenly finding themselves at the center of lawsuits. And later, he went from marveling from the ground to flying high.
My whole family will be there and they'll see me take off, and yeah, they're extremely excited.
As a kid with a dream, now turned fighter pilot, takes to the air show sky. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. We begin at 11 with a fire still burning in part of the gorge and one that is now threatening homes. This is in Dowsport across the Columbia from the Dalles in Washington's Klickitat County. The fire, which broke out near a mill, is now estimated at about 20 acres. Let's go right to Alma McCarty in the newsroom with an update from fire officials. Alma?
Well, David, fire officials are calling this the Tiedemann Road Fire, which began around 2:45 this afternoon. It involves a lumber mill and some of the brush just beyond it. Now here's a look at the scene earlier today, starting with a look from above. State fire assistants mobilized to support the local firefighters working to contain it this evening at the request of the fire chief of Klickitat County's Fire District 6. Officials say homes and other infrastructure in the area are threatened, but there are no evacuations in effect right now. Authorities with the state fire marshal's office ordered 3 strike teams to fight the fire. Part of the concern here is the wind, with this area seeing gusts of up to 39 miles an hour this afternoon. And again, this fire in Dowsport has reached, at last check, 20 acres. The cause of the fire, though, is still under investigation. David?
Yeah, thank you, Alma. Appreciate that update. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, the man accused of killing a Milwaukee man outside a motel in Lincoln City is now behind bars. Roland Evans-Freck is accused of beating Bradley Cole and trying to take his dog. The deadly attack happened Tuesday night in the parking lot of the Ashley Inn. The suspect faces murder and robbery charges. According to a verified GoFundMe, Cole was celebrating his 37th wedding anniversary with his wife this week at the Oregon coast. Portland police are asking for help identifying a man they say assaulted an officer during a protest on the Portland State campus. This was Thursday, May 2nd, the day police moved in and cleared the library occupation. Police say an officer was dealing with another person when the suspect in this photo reached under the officer's face shield, sprayed her with pepper spray, and then ran off. He appears to be a white male with curly hair, likely in his 20s. If you recognize him, call Portland police. And Oregon's governor has thrown the state's only international container terminal a financial lifeline. Last month, the Port of Portland announced Terminal 6 would end cargo container operations in October. The reason: 2 straight years of operating at a $13 million loss and a lease plan to help offset those losses that fell through. But today, Governor Tina Kotek proposed a $40 million infusion from the state in the upcoming budget, plus additional money from the Oregon Emergency Board this fall to keep the terminal open. The closure would have meant the loss of about 700 jobs at the port and more than 800 related jobs. Well, this evening we are keeping a close eye on Oregon's second biggest school district because early tomorrow morning, hundreds of teachers and staff in SalemKaiser are about to find out if they will still have jobs next year. Everyone in SalemKaiser schools has known cuts were coming after the school board voted last month to approve a budget that made $70 million in cuts. Now, this means some 200 teachers are set to be laid off, around 400 staff members in all. Here is what some parents told us today.
I'm worried that our families are not going to be prepared for the significant impact these cuts are going to have. You're taking away teachers, so your class sizes have to get bigger. And even though they keep saying enrollment's down, does not feel like it.
Well, the school district declined a request for an interview, though provided a letter it sent to families calling the cuts painful but necessary. To help cope with these losses, schools will be closed on Friday. New at 11, with summer around the corner, some popular swimming spots on the Sandy River are gearing up to protect those enjoying the outdoors. And as Catherine Cook reports, those on the front line say it's all in an effort to create a season marked by fun. not tragedy.
It feels amazing.
Along the banks of the Sandy River.
You know, it's not too hot, not too cold, just like right in the middle.
Anthony Drisker and Nikki Martinez found the perfect spot at Dabney State Park.
We kind of just come here to relax.
As they look out on the water, they recognize the river's strength.
Like me, I'm a good swimmer, but I like stay within my limits. Like I stay like right in the front.
They've heard the stories.
Because a lot of people do get caught up in the current and either end up missing or their body turns up later on. It's super upsetting.
Just the fact that they know that is something first responders are grateful for.
It helps us do our job because people pause for a minute. They think, they make better decisions.
Travis Souls is captain of the Gresham Fire Department Water Rescue Team. On this day, he, along with crews from Gorge Fire, AMR, and the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office, met up to explain what's about to happen. The weather will warm up. People will hit the water in droves, and chances are there will be emergency calls.
The water is actually quite fast, the water is cold, there are steep drop-offs, it's pretty easy to get swept off your feet.
Jasmine Zimmer-Stuckey is a lieutenant with Gorge Fire District. She's grateful for the way these agencies work as a team. Part of it is prevention. A few years ago, AMR and Gorge Fire started putting more than 100 life jackets around Glen Otto, Lewis and Clark, and Dabney Parks.
Absolutely. These life jacket programs save lives.
Gorge Fire also has a special drone. It uses thermal imaging to spot swimmers, boaters, and hikers at night. And as we saw, it can also deliver life jackets to swimmers below. It's worth noting the guy who copped this life vest was also wearing a wetsuit for the demo. The water is still 45 degrees.
And even just chest deep, your breath gone instantly.
Sergeant Rick Hathaway is with the Multnomah County Sheriff's dive team. If he's called to the scene, it's usually on a recovery mission.
That's not something that we want to go do. That's not something that we enjoy. We enjoy our job, but it's not something that's fun for us.
First responders say last year they didn't have any drownings on this part of the Sandy River. A huge relief after the year before when several people died. They say that was a big wake-up call and changed how the community views water safety.
So all of you getting the word out, that's what I attribute to last year's success.
In Troutdale, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Racism does happen at Fort Vancouver High School and our admin doesn't know how to handle it. Things like this should not be acceptable.
Well, developing this evening, a series of ongoing racist incidents had some students, as you heard, in tears at this week's Vancouver School Board meeting. One student at Fort Vancouver High says she put up posters for a club that supports the mental health of black teens, and they were defaced with insults and racial slurs. Another student who testified says she has heard racial slurs in the classroom and seen them on social media. She spoke about one person who didn't seem to understand how hurtful their words were.
I've seen on her TikTok post that she wasn't sincere about the apology. She kept going on the comments saying that it wasn't that serious, the joke wasn't about you, the N-word this, N-word that.
Ensuring that we are educating the students, that we're working with our staff to make sure that we know how to respond, and then just to work with the community.
Well, that was the associate principal at Fort Vancouver. Meanwhile, the district says it is committed to making sure all students feel safe and welcome, adding the superintendent personally met with the students who spoke at that school board meeting. Well, an update tonight, the U.S. Justice Department formally moved today to reclassify marijuana as a less dangerous drug. That means it'll move from Schedule 1, which includes things like heroin, to Schedule 3 alongside anabolic steroids. This changes what has been federal policy on cannabis for essentially decades, though it doesn't outright legalize it. President Biden, along with a number of Oregon politicians, have pushed for changes to federal marijuana policy.
Look, folks. No one should be in jail merely for using or possessing marijuana, period. Far too many lives have been upended because of failed approach to marijuana, and I'm committed to righting those wrongs.
The DEA will get public feedback next. That's followed by a potential review by an administrative judge. Straight ahead at 11 on this Thursday, a new KGW investigation into a flurry of lawsuits hitting small businesses. Why some say the demands around disabilities don't seem to pass the smell test. Plus, it wouldn't be festival season without the Starlight Parade, including this year's Grand Marshal. Details on the pick still to come.
And we had some sunshine today. Then the clouds really rolled in. And yes, you're looking at very windy weather out of the gorge. More on that for you in a bit. We actually had some rain move through Portland tonight. Not very much, a little bit, but we still have some sunny days in spite of cooler weather. More rain coming our way next week.